Don't really have an idea on what kind of pot you should be using for your roses? Well, look no further, because this is a video for all of my rose besties who have no idea what kind of pot to choose for their roses. There's your reminder to save this video now so you can check back for reference. In this video, I will be covering the sizes of pots that you should be choosing and the material of pots. Going straight into sizing, most of the owned roses that you buy from nurseries, whether it's online or in person, should all come in a nursery pot. And they ranges from sizes like this. This is a small 1 cord to about 2 cord, 3 cord, 3 gallons. Regardless of what size they came in, you should always repot your roses as soon as you get them home. One easy rule for you to follow, especially for beginners, is always find a pot that is at least 2 to 4 inches larger than the original pot. If you can go larger, depending on what your space allows, I would always recommend you to go larger. That way you don't have to worry about repotting it anytime soon. To give you a visual, this is just for size reference. If you get a pot like this, it needs to be at least 2 inches wider. 2 to 4 inches, okay? The same sizing rule will apply to bare root roses as well, especially like the big bare root roses that you get from some places like David Austin, where the root systems are very, very strong and vigorous. What you want to do with those bare root roses is that you want to drop it into a pot, center your bare root, and make sure that you have a clearance of at least 2 to 4 inches around the edges to be able to give proper room and space for your bare roots to develop a healthy root system. And always go big if you can. Now we've got sizing out of the way, let's talk about what kind of material that is best suitable for roses. So when I'm looking for pots for roses, there are 2 main things that I'm looking for. One is insulation. You want to make sure that you're providing an environment for it to grow in that is breathable. The kind of material that's going to help your soil to keep nice, moistured, also breathable at the same time, and not be impacted by the weather from its environment. My number 1 choice is always going to be terracotta, and it comes in so many different thickness. That's so important for you to look for, because terracotta is a natural material. With all natural materials, like I mentioned before, it will deteriorate over time, especially if you're in a climate like me. I'm in Texas zone 8B. We get really extreme freezes in the winter and extremely hot in the summertime. So with all things like concrete and the foundation of your house, when it's cold, it's gonna shrink, and when it's hot, it's gonna expand. And with weather's changing like that, if you're finding a terracotta pot that is too thin, it's going to crack depending on the weather that you're in. So for terracotta pot, depends on how well it's made and how thick it is. It could have a range of various lifespan. That is one thing to keep in mind. But the material itself really wins on its breathability. The soil and the root system can really breathe through terracotta. I want to show you a side-by-side comparison of the thickness of different terracotta pots. This compared to this, obviously this is going to be more durable. And like I mentioned before, if you can go bigger, if your space allows you to, always go bigger. Other than terracotta, one of my other favorite is any clay pots that are glazed on the outside, like this one. But if you look closer on the inside is not glazed. You don't want it to be glazed because that will prevent the soil to be able to breathe. Those kind of pots, I see them a lot. I say better to use those for your indoor plants, where you can use one of these plastic ones inside of those pots that are glazed on the inside, in order to prevent any root rotting. I find these to be even more durable than the terracotta. If you don't want to worry about your terracotta cracking over time, this is a really, really good choice. Now this third option is a really thick resin pot. These are probably some of the most durable pots that's out there. And you can find one that's made looking like a terracotta too. I love finding these at my local Home Goods. And I'm sure places like Home Depot, Lowe's, or Walmart will carry a variety of similar pots like this. But you can see that it's very thick. This is going to keep your soil nice and tempered. So when it's cold out, your soil doesn't get freezed. And when it's hot out, your soil doesn't get boiling hot. Now the very last kind that I don't have an example here to show you because they are on the pricier end, and that will be concrete pots. Concrete pots are wonderful. If you are able to splurge a little bit on them, I say go for it. Concrete is a great material to keep your soil tempered as well. There you have it. This is my complete guide on how to find the perfect pot for your roses. If you haven't followed me, my name is Yuli. I grow a ton of beautiful roses here in Texas Zone 8B, and I also share a lot of gardening contents on vegetables and fruits. Follow me if you want more educational rose and gardening videos. Like and save this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, besties.